DNVR Broncos live, coming to you from Studio A, where the A stands for, are we making anything of this?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, we absolutely are.
And
we absolutely are.
We'll talk about that in just a second, but first, I got to let you know we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Get over to DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the code DNVR when you sign up. You can get $200 in free bets when you bet $5 on any NBA money line. Might as well take the Nuggets tonight. All right, so a spicy day at Dove Valley?
Oh,
So
very spicy day. And let's just start with the bad news right away, which isn't spicy. It's bad news. KJ Hamler, Mike Klisch just reporting that KJ Hamler will be added to the injury report with a hamstring injury. Probably the worst injury for him to show up on the injury report with.
Yep.
Other than a season-ending,
Yep.
tendon sort of thing.
That's such a big blow for him. Like, that's their speed guy. He was finally getting things together, and like you just cannot be losing weapons right now. And he was turning into one of your better options.
I wish I could act surprised or disappointed or have any reaction to this at all other than, that sounds about right.
Dang. Cold-blooded.
That is cold-blooded.
But I mean, it's true, because when you look at KJ, this was the year for the most part he's been healthy. This is the healthiest year he's had. Obviously, last year, two brutal season-ending injuries. The year before that, in his year coming out of college, within college and the combine and his rookie year, he had 4 hamstring injuries.
Yeah.
So when you say hamstring and KJ Hamler, like you said, Ryan, it's not a surprise.
It's not. It's unfortunate because of the timing, like you mentioned, Henry.
Yep.
Because it felt like things were finally starting to click a little bit between he and Russ, and it was making a difference in the offense. Won them the game, or helped win them the game last week. At the same time, we've said it 1,000 times on this show. The second that you're counting on KJ Hamler, you're in trouble. You can't count on him. Everything that he does for you has to be a cherry on top. And it's kind of funny that it works out in this way where it's like, man, it did sort of seem like he was starting to become an important piece of the offense.
was.
And it's like you pushed your luck a little bit too much. And it's a bummer from that standpoint, but it's not surprising at all, and that's the unfortunate part. And from a Broncos standpoint, we talk about opening holes and how you don't want to create new holes and try to fill holes that maybe aren't there at the moment. But they probably should have replaced him on this team, a while ago.
Well, hello, Montrell Washington. I mean, he is the most natural replacement, and we haven't seen Montrell Washington really be a receiver this year, but in training camp he was, and not just a deep threat, but really an all-around receiver. Now Montrell's really going to be counted on, because I would expect that KJ Hamler showing up on the injury report today means that something happened in practice, because it happened during practice. This Mike Klisch report, KJ was out there at the beginning of practice today. He was not on the injury report when we talked to Nathaniel Hackett 2 hours ago. And you got to think that means he is not going to play this week.
Yep. You hope it's just a little like tightness or something, but you have to expect that he's not going to be there. And again, that's just such a big blow.
It probably wouldn't have made it to like Mike Klisch as a report if he just left practice with a little hamstring tightness.
It was a small deal,
right?
Yeah.
We'll see. But I mean, what, a 40-plus yard catch in 3 of the last 5 games? Like, he's not dropping any of those balls. He's been open on more of them. The Greg Dulcich wheel route, that's because KJ ran the post outside that opened him up down the sideline. I mean, he's doing so much to open up so many people. You can't lose him.
We even had they're about to. Yeah,
I know. It's not good.
We even had some people in our pod poll yesterday, which popped off about who the Broncos MVP was on offense, saying KJ Hamler.
Yep,
that was the saddest conversation ever.
It was.
There was so much. I don't know. The word's not outrage, but people were mad that like Russ was even an option, and I was just like, think about it though for 1 second, and you realize there's no options. And he has one. He has led 3 game-winning drives.
He has. And speaking of Russ, did you guys catch Pete Carroll's little shot at him?
Boy.
Another shot at him, by the way, that he had on Monday.
I'm so sick of this.
It's every other week.
It's like, Pete, you're winning. Everything's going well for you. Move on, my guy.
And I agree, but now he's winning without Russ, so this is his best time to get the shots off. And to me, this is probably reading too much into it. Pete maybe knows his window of winning isn't going to be that long, so he needs to take these shots while he's on top.
Well, and it's like kind of like the Brady Belichick thing, right? Where we were like, who is it? Is it more Brady or more Belichick? He's trying to like push the narrative as far as he can that it was more Pete than Russ.
Yep, and
which
also
it never is. It's always the quarterback.
He wants to show just how much Russ was holding the team back, despite Russ having personal and individual success, just how much he was hurting them. Because this was another comment about how Russ was, in his mind...
He doesn't want to show that. He wants to build that narrative because he knows it's beneficial to him.
Well, of course, but that's what he's doing. He's showing it every other week with a comment.
Yeah.
No one likes the salty ex who keeps talking about the ex relationship.
Well, what's weird is
Who does, though, is their fans.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so he's feeding them.
Yeah,
it's weird when you're the one who, like, imagine you like broke up with your girlfriend dumped you. Then you got a better match for you, better looking, more successful and everything. And then like you're still talking about.
Yeah. It's just because I think you're a little worried that more beautiful girlfriend's going to break up with you and you're just going to be left in the dumps. So you got to get these shots off while you're on top.
Yeah.
Those fans are eating it up, though.
Of course.
I mean, they're
That's
fired
why
up.
he's doing it.
And you can't stop either. Like, he should be doing this.
And so what we're talking about is Pete Carroll was on the radio on Monday, and he said, just talking about the offense being efficient. And he said, if you notice, Geno's going off the wristband, and that's a big help. It smoothed things out, sped things up, cleaned things up, and that's part of it, too. We never did that before. There was some resistance to that, so we didn't do that before. There's only one person resistance could have come from. Russell Wilson has been the quarterback for Pete Carroll for the past 10 years outside of 3 games. He's pointing at Russ.
Sure he wasn't pointing at Geno last year?
No. I don't think he was pointing at Geno for those 3 games. So Russell Wilson responded
real
today.
Quick. Well, go ahead. We'll finish this.
He responded and was asked about that, and I just love the way that Russ started it off. He said, the question from Mike Kliss was, we've come to find out that you don't really like the wristband. And Russ goes, come to find out? What do you mean? And then Mike kind of explained it further. And instantly...
Of course, always pretend like you didn't hear what
it seemed
people
like
were saying
Russ
about you.
knew about it and said, I don't know exactly what he said, but I think, won a lot of games there without one on the wrist. I didn't know winning or losing mattered if you wore a wristband or not.
Love it. Great quote.
Yep.
Winningest quarterback in the first 10 years in NFL history.
Yep.
Did it without a wristband.
Yep.
Good for him. That being said, any sort of resistance to wearing a wristband is super weird.
Because it only helps, really.
You would think.
Yeah, regardless. Like, if the coach says, like, hey, could you put this on? You just feel like you just say yes. There's no reason not to. Like, it's not like Russ is, like, some sort of, like, super swaggy player, and he's like, oh, this cramps my style. Like, no, you just put it on.
Yeah,
He
but
resisted, though.
Yeah, but if you're a franchise...
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's weird that he resisted.
If you're a franchise quarterback and you think that you're doing it right your way and the coach tells you to do it, you're going to say, no, I don't want to do that.
Where's Drew Lock when you need him to do a little Buzz Lightyear celebration?
It would have been great. And then you know what made it even better?
What?
30 minutes after we talked to Russ, he went out on the practice field wearing a wristband.
Yeah. And Henry, you had mentioned that he wore it in Jacksonville.
In London.
In London against Jacksonville.
Yep. And he didn't wear it before that. We looked back at the Chargers game, and he wasn't wearing it the last time he played.
I don't believe he wore it at all this year.
I don't think so
until the London game. But honestly, I think that's one of the small adjustments that Hackett talked about this week that the Broncos offense is making that is going to stick. I think that's going to be a small thing.
Why wouldn't he be wearing it from the start?
Well, that's probably
in
what
a new
Hackett
offense where you're still trying to make sure you have a full grasp of things. I just think you would want to take every single thing you could have to make sure you have it right. And I know Russ takes a lot of pride. Like, I remember the offseason quotes of like, oh, I already have the whole offense like memorized or whatever. I know he takes a lot of pride in that, and it's unfortunately been made out to look like it's a crutch.
Right.
Why would you not take the crutch? Always take the crutch.
Because, I mean, if you're just not using it is the thing. Like if the coach is just calling it in and saying like the full play name instead of saying number 65, then there's really no reason to even look at it. Because if he's just saying the whole play name, then you just repeat the whole play name in the huddle. If he says 65, then you look it up and read it.
You used to see
you might not need it.
I used to see Drew do this, and again, we're talking about a guy who at the time was a rookie quarterback, and it's a lot different than a 10-year vet. But Drew would read it off the thing in the huddle. He'd get up to the line, and you'd see him just double check it, just as like one more reminder of like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yep.
And I just again, if the goal is to ride a bicycle as far as possible, and I say you can have training wheels or no training wheels, Just take the training wheel so you don't fall.
It might slow you down, and that's honestly what Russ may think. I don't know.
They couldn't have gone any slower than they did at the beginning of the
But
season.
like I don't even think it's like training wheels though. It's like right when you get on the bike, somebody says, "Make sure you pedal with your right foot than your left foot." Like
No.
that's exactly what it is, because you know that he tells you the play, you repeat the play in your mind. You probably thought about the play. Like maybe a double check could do something, but I just doubt it.
I just like that he is going to. It seems like he's going to do it again after it worked in Jacksonville.
In why is it working for Gino?
I mean, is it? I mean, does it matter?
Appears so.
I mean,
Really
but
appears
you can't
so.
say that is why.
Why does it
Yeah,
even
I agree.
exist?
Exactly.
Why does it even exist if it's not helpful?
For young quarterbacks who might not remember the play, or for guys who want to get the play call in faster, and maybe that's what it was.
It could be
Maybe Hackett did start saying like, we need to speed things up. I'm just gonna give you the number.
I guess my point is if it provides 0.0001% more help, you do it.
What if it's uncomfortable? And uncomfortable.
It's on your left hand.
But uncomfortable. He's a scrambler. He likes to move around. He thinks it's another place that
Give me a break.
I'm just trying to think.
I know.
And that could be it. But one more thing that the Broncos are carrying over from their win in Jacksonville to today.
Yes.
Uniforms, baby. The ones that everyone hate. But they're 1-0 in them.
I was going to say, I don't know if you saw my take on Twitter, but I have a strong take.
I have not seen it. Can I guess?
Yes.
Carry over because the vibes were good.
Yeah. My guy knows me. Yeah, you do it. It's not really more about the vibes as much as I'm just an extremely superstitious person.
All right.
And so it worked. You won. Why would you ever change that?
Because that's not why you
Because
won.
it doesn't matter.
But that's fine. I'm totally okay with keeping the
does matter.
superstitious. It does not matter.
Yes,
Let's
it
just
does.
no.
Yes,
We
it
got to
does.
make that clear. It does not matter.
No, it does.
Doesn't matter.
Nope.
It didn't matter to the win last week, but
Correct.
now it does matter because you just feel more confident. You're like, we won in these.
I just don't think anybody's running out there and like looking down. It's like, oh yeah, we're wearing these pants today.
You've never heard of a
I
new
guess we are
uni
gonna win.
game? Like
No,
in college, if a
no.
team's debuting a new uni, you just bet on them.
But does
'Cause
that
they-
bet win?
Yeah.
Well, because
I don't know if that's true.
Hank, most of the time it's Oregon wearing new uniforms, and they're
Oh,
just
they
good.
always
so that's
win.
why it. Yeah,
They
exactly.
always
yeah.
yeah, it is. It's
So
like
that
all the
really
big
helps.
Nike schools
Yeah,
that can
exactly.
afford that.
Yeah.
But they have like a new little boost of like, ooh, we look we look fresh. Now the Broncos, the funny thing is they don't look fresh at all. They look awful.
But this isn't a new uni boost anymore.
It's
this
not.
is an old ugly boost.
But it's
from
just-
what people say.
You just
Yeah.
ride it. You just ride it. You ride the wave, and if it crashes, then you just move on to a new
But-
thing.
And I agree. You ride the wave, and so if they win, are they donning these uniforms the following week at home?
No, they'll go orange on blue, and I think you're gonna get that regardless.
No, there's
Yeah.
no way. That looks so bad.
This looks worse.
I don't know that it does. I don't think it does.
You want to know what's funny? Is that I think I mentioned this before. Madden, the current iteration of Madden, forces you to wear those in practice.
Wow.
Every single practice. You don't even get the option to change it. So on offense, you're wearing orange on blue, and on defense, you're wearing white on blue. And I
must love
swear,
that.
like the Broncos
Yep.
fed that to
just-
Madden.
I
We're
just
like,
tapping
you need to
into
like build this into
It's been going
people's
on for
minds.
years. Like it's been a plant for like a half decade.
What do you mean?
That
No.
uniform, that combo.
That combo is an option in Madden.
Oh no, but that's always been their practice uniform.
No.
Are you sure? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it has.
And the crazy thing is when you open the game and you like do the tutorial and you say your favorite team's the Broncos, you're in that uniform. First thing that happens when you open the game.
So that's why you're growing to like them.
I don't like them. I hate them. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And you know what? It's really getting the fans are buying into it.
Yeah.
They're buying into the ugly is good.
I mean, couldn't we take these to a local tailor, support some local business, have them sew an orange stripe on the pants?
You think so? Or you have an in-house team that could just do it.
But I want to support a local business.
The local business of the Denver Broncos.
Fair enough. That is
yeah.
a local business.
And you're supporting Walmart, which is a very local business.
What kind
That
of
is
fine
not
would you
local.
get for that? Like the Broncos would get like, I bet it's like a $5 million fine if
for
they
just
did that.
changing the uniforms overnight without telling anyone.
Yeah, I bet it's a big one. I bet it'd
Or
be
the
massive.
NFL would be like, good job. We're not going to fine you.
They're like,
I
thank
don't
you
think
for
so.
not wearing that ugly, ungodly combo. So yeah, I mean, it's atrocious. It is completely and utterly awful.
And they hope turns out to be utterly good.
Yes, Allie, what's that word in Spanish that I love that says something that's just like disgusting? horroroso. Only that can just like fully describe how awful these are.
Now spell it, Ryan. I would go
boy.
R-R-R-R.
No, I think it would be HORROROSO.
Did he hit it? Did he nail it?
That is correct.
Whoa, impressive.
I hate that you got it right.
Spelling bee champion, maybe in multiple languages.
that is
Wow.
impressive. Something that is eye-opening, not necessarily impressive, is something that Dre'Mont Jones said today in the locker room.
Yikes.
Andrew Mason has the audio of it. It's 3 questions. And
Shout out, Mace.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Mason. By the way, shout out to Mace. He had a little procedure done. He put it out on Twitter last week, so we are wishing him the best.
He was back today, so that's great news.
Back today. Good to see him out there. So thank you, Mace, for this audio. And let's pull it up because it is, as Russell Wilson would say, spicy.
Oh, God, I hate that. Oof.
You know, the dominoes, the way they fall, that could potentially affect, you know, you and the fact that you're in a contract year, all that.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it happened. You lose a player like that, I mean, the money's going to open up. But money is going to open up, you lose anybody on the contract. So, I mean, it is what it is with that.
George called you a core player and somebody that they want to be around here a long time. Did you get that sense, you know, before he said that? Did you feel like that? And how do you view your standing with the franchise going forward?
I view my standing with the franchise as this is Dre going to year 4. That's all I can say.
Do you want to stay here? Do you want to be here long term and be a part of this?
I'm here right now.
Could, you know, the dominoes, the way they fall, that could potentially affect, you know.
Oh my goodness. So I know the audio is a little hard to hear, but essentially the first question was the first question was Bradley Chubb, no longer here. That opens up some money. Do you think that could be used for him or for you? And he essentially said, yeah, I mean, moving on from Bradley, it does open up money. Kind of leaves it at that. Then was asked, what is your standing with the franchise right now? George Paton said that he wants you here for a long time. Did you feel that before he even made those comments? And he said, I don't really know what my standing is with the franchise. This is Dre going into year 4.
That's third person.
That's my standing. Yep.
Oh,
Little
boy.
third person. And then where the sauce came in, the spicy on top was he was asked, do you want to be here and be with this moving forward? And he said, I'm here right now.
Woo! Do you guys want to?
I mean, he's sending a message. He's sending a message.
He is playing the game. Don't fall for this. I'm already seeing it in the comments saying he's gone, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's playing the game. Don't get played.
Oh, no, I don't necessarily agree with you. Now, he is playing the game, but he's playing the game, Ryan, where he's I think he's made it very clear, not just with this comment, but his comments in the past this year. The first time we talked to him this year, he talked about how he left money out on the field last year. And so money was the top of his mind. I think it has been. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
If you want money to be the most important thing on where you sign, that is totally fine. Those are your priorities. But I think that's what Dre'Mont Jones is saying with this and is going to end up doing, is making sure he gets paid the top dollar, not necessarily it being in Denver. There are no hometown discounts coming from Dre'Mont.
Absolutely not. And I fully and entirely agree with that. But people are taking this, I think, to mean that he doesn't want to be here. And he is using that as a weapon. Because if he were to go out there and say today, I love Denver, I love the fans, I'd love to be here long term, et cetera, then it in his eyes and probably his agent eyes kind of shows a little bit of weakness of like, oh, I have a soft spot for this. He is sticking to character, which is I am getting the bag. That is what matters. And I think George Paton eventually is going to crack and give it to him. Ooh. And so in the end, all is going to be happy. Remember, folks, Von Miller cropped John Elway out of a photograph.
Yep.
Like, we have seen these types of tactics before. And so it's important I just think it's important to realize, like, this isn't Dre'Mont doesn't like Denver or he's not happy here or anything like that. This is about money and money alone.
Yep.
Pay me or I will go somewhere else. I'm not taking any discounts. And again, I said it yesterday. I'm always pro player in these situations. Get as much money as you possibly can. This is a short-lived career that is very lucrative, but it doesn't last forever. So get your bag, secure it. This is not a Dre'Mont doesn't love it here or doesn't want to be here situation.
But let me throw two things out there really quick, just for the other side of what things Dre'Mont has said. He's been very vocal about how much this losing has sucked. And he can be a very brutally honest guy, as we kind of saw today. Also, 1 week ago, right after the Broncos traded Bradley Chubb, he was at least the first person that I saw on Twitter saying how much it sucked. And he could be seeing, wait, you're trading the second best defensive player on this defense? What are you doing?
We're
that's
trying
not a
to
winning
afford
move
you
right now. Okay, but then let me throw a third thing on that. Last year, George Paton gave two contract extensions.
That's the big
during
one.
the bye week. Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton. They opened up money from Bradley Chubb last week. Bradley Chubb got paid on Thursday. They traded him on Tuesday. Bradley Chubb got paid Thursday. Last year during the bye, the first contract extension was given out Friday afternoon. There was no contract extension for Dre'Mont Jones on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now we're back into the season. So there was no contract extension.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the big part to me. And that's why I think this happened. I think that, I'm willing to assume that there were talks last week. Like, I don't think that they just let that whole window pass. I'd be more than willing to bet that at some point they had a discussion. Obviously things didn't go well. And that's why Dre'Mont answered like this, because it's kind of his response to whatever happened last week. And, I think that if there had been no discussions to this point, might have heard something different. It might have been like, we're hoping to get a deal done. It feels like this is not the first chapter of this story.
I think you're totally right, and I assume the Broncos came in and said, "Hey, we just freed up all this money. We'd love to give you a contract. How does, $50 million over 3 years sound?" And he was just like, "Have a nice day," and walked out of the room.
Yep. I think that's exactly where we are right now.
Yep.
And you said, Ryan, contract negotiations were tough with Von Miller. This is showing that maybe contract negotiations are being tough with Dre'Mont Jones. Now, on the flip side, though, Justin Simmons said over and over and over again how much he wants to be a Denver Bronco for life. And then he went out and got the bag. I mean, it doesn't necessarily hurt you by saying you want to be a Bronco for life. But I do see how his agent, and specifically Dre'Mont, could think that's something that hurts him a little bit.
And I think they're probably, there's a situation here where they feel like they've been disrespected by a low ball offer. And so now they're going to we're not playing nice anymore.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk money. Do you guys want Dre'Mont Jones to be a Bronco?
Yes.
Yes.
It's easy to say yes, right?
Yep.
Okay, now what price are we talking? Because I think there could be a massive gap.
I think it's
$20 million a year.
I think 20 mil is what it winds up coming down to.
More
than Bradley Chubb?
More than Bradley Chubb. Well, maybe right at Bradley Chubb. And the reason is when you look at defensive linemen, do you guys know how much Aaron Donald's making?
No.
It is insane. $31.6 million. Now, obviously,
where would he
Dre'Mont
rank in terms of quarterbacks? Like fourth?
7th at this point.
Yeah,
8th?
probably
okay.
right. Probably right around there. Number 2, Myles Garrett. Not the exact same position, but Dre'Mont would probably try to throw him in his category. $25 million per year. Max Crosby, $23.5 million per year. More of an end than what Dre'Mont is. DeForest Buckner and Leonard Williams. Here's the territory of Dre'Mont Jones. They're both making $21 million per year. You know DeForest Buckner's stats this year? He has half a sack fewer than Dre'Mont Jones. And you look
There's
at
your
DeForest. Yep, that's exactly the comp. You look at Leonard Williams. He has 1 sack this year. Now, Leonard Williams isn't as much of a pass rusher as Dre'Mont and as specifically as DeForest Buckner, but that's what you're saying. And Dre'Mont is going to say, I have to have at least DeForest Buckner money, which starts at $21 million.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Definitely.
I mean, when I said 20, I meant in that ballpark.
Okay.
21, sure, sign me up. 21 and 1 penny, which is what it'll probably have to be, $1 or $100,000 more than what DeForest Buckner is making. Sure. I mean, you have to retain this talent. Like, you can't just have a situation where you let guys go because they're a little bit more expensive than you want to pay. Unless you have a pipeline behind them, and it doesn't really seem like, McTelvin Ajim isn't hitting. We haven't seen enough from Uwazurike. Like, I guess those aren't exact comps there, but the Broncos defensive line pipeline isn't popping with talent. So you got to keep them around.
Okay, so that's what Dre'Mont thinks too. But Dre'Mont sees
by the way, Mike
desperation.
Vrabel not doing us any favors today.
Oh, certainly not. Saying no one's playing better than Dre'Mont Jones right now.
That is a dick move. I think he knew what he was doing too.
It's an Ohio State guy. He wants to help his guys out. So Dre'Mont looks around and says, well, Myles Garrett, he's kind of a different position than me. He's more of an end, but it's harder to find interior pass rushers. Myles Garrett has 7 sacks on this season. My 5.5 sacks from the inside are just as valuable. Make it 25.
Maybe even more valuable.
Make it 26.
No.
So where's your line? Because I think Dre'Mont Jones, like I said, and nothing wrong with it, is all about the money. So I think he's going to try to get the biggest contract. So where do you think it's okay? Where do both of you think it's okay for George Paton to draw the line and say that's too much?
Right now, I'd offer 19. That's where I'd draw the line. Say 4 years, 19 million. Yep, and that's probably fair. But I'd say, hey, you have 5.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss through 8 games. Great numbers. Take this. You won't have to worry if you get injured. You won't have to worry about if the production drops off. There's your offer. But if things go the way they're kind of trending, I'd bump that up to probably 22 after the season.
That's where I was going to draw my final line.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, that's a pretty damn fair offer.
It's a big number.
It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, I would try to get to
guy
like 3 years.
Everyone you just named is an NFL household name.
Yes.
No, with all due respect, no one outside of the AFC West knows who Dre'Mont Jones is.
It's true. And also, again, not that Madden means anything. Dre'Mont Jones was a 75 on Madden going into this year.
All of those guys are like 85 plus.
Yeah, and of course, you don't base that off Madden, but that kind of proves to you about your household name point.
So you are saying we're paying you household name money. If you want to say I can get 25, be my guest.
And I think that's the conversation.
That's superstar
happening.
money.
It is. I mean, even 22 is superstar money. You know how much Von Miller's making? I know not the same position. He's making less than that.
But he's also old.
Yeah, but for 4 years. So this deal is probably 5 years. It's Bradley Chubb's deal. It
probably
5
is.
years, $110 million.
That's
with
so tough to commit
65
to.
guaranteed?
63. But
63?
What does that come out to per year?
22.
Just do it. Just copy and paste.
What if he is what he was the last couple years and not this year, though?
That is what's scary.
Wouldn't you rather kind of just go out there and grab Leonard Williams or one of those guys who is more established if you're paying that kind of money?
Leonard Williams is making the same. I mean, I don't know.
That's
exactly.
why. Do you, as George Paton, let's say this is a conversation. George is willing to go 20, 22. He wants 25. If you're George Paton, is the best move to say, fine, we'll just franchise you after this season, because then that number's not going to be 22. It's going to be less, and that's still going to be a lot. But then if you see it 2 straight years, Hank, and you see 10 sacks from an interior defensive lineman 2 straight years, then you say, okay, fine, Aaron Donald-ish money. Then we're fine paying 26, 27 mil.
And that is where I would like to go if I'm George Paton.
Yeah. That's where I'm at,
unless
too.
you can get that like 19 million. We hedge it a little bit.
Where are you going? What's
franchise tag? Because we talked a lot about it with Bradley Chubb, but one of the things we never brought up is that you only get one franchise tag.
Yep.
And so you can't go into an offseason saying, oh, I hope we get Bradley or Dre'Mont to sign so we can use the tag on the other. Like, that's just bad planning. And so I do think that part of the thought process probably was, well, now we have the tag that we can use.
Oh, geez. You think he's spicy now. Just wait
Oh,
until
yeah.
you have the franchise tag on it.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely
Hey, we're going to love it.
is what it is.
Well, he's not going to be there to talk to until week 1. So
Very
Probably
true.
not.
Oh,
Is what it is.
Oh, yep.
Or I guess training camp, is that when you start getting fined?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll see him training camp.
I'm here so I don't get fined. You know who would not surprise me if he said that? Was
No.
the Dre'Mont Jones.
Yeah, 100%.
That's true.
It's a lot of money for a good player who is on the verge of being great.
Yep. Another half season away.
But you have to, I don't know. It's especially when the Broncos aren't, as it stands right now, a attractive free agent destination.
Right. No, they aren't. And interesting. Typically, player or fans have players' backs. They want the players to get to stick around.
He blew it.
Right now, we have many people saying they miss Shelby Harris. We have someone, Brandon says, I think this conversation is quite delusional. I think
Well,
they're
and he
saying
also said Shelby thought he was going to get a bunch of money too. Shelby was also kind of old.
And he's never done this. Shelby's never had 5.5 sacks. Like,
I think he did have 5.5 sacks in a season.
Yes.
But
But
Yeah.
again, like, Dre'Mont has as many sacks as Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb just went for a first-round pick and got that deal.
Right,
I think
exactly.
what Bradley has
Should the Broncos
2
have
tackles
traded
for loss. I think
Dre'Mont Jones if they could get another first-round pick?
Why not? But I think Bradley has
Maybe.
2 tackles for loss and Dre'Mont has 8.
has 8. Yeah.
Like, it's the numbers are firmly in favor of Dre'Mont before you even factor in. It's tougher to do it from his position.
Yeah. And I think Brandon was saying that we're delusional because like, oh, Draymond's not worth 20. He certainly thinks so, and I think we
He
showed
is.
why.
If he
He
gets
is.
into free agency, and things continue to go the way they have this season.
What's the old adage? $1 million a sack until you hit double digits. Then it becomes
Yeah.
$2 million a sack. He's on pace for 11.
And
what's
especially
11
this
times
year.
2?
And that's Von
22.
That's like Von Miller era.
Right,
Like the
right.
salary
It's even
cap's gone up
Yeah.
15-20% by then.
And
Yeah, so
Jose
maybe it's
saying
1.3 million
Yes,
per second.
exactly. Inflation.
Jose saying don't give Draymond $20 million. It's
can't
going to
argue
be
with
interesting.
that.
That's
Like,
for sure.
We have not. He has not been this good before.
No, people wouldn't be saying this if he wasn't such a douche today.
Wow.
Fair. But I mean, there's also I saw one that was like, don't give him all that money if he has that kind of attitude.
Yes.
No, the attitude is what you're paying for.
That's true.
Like that is part of what he brings to the table is that attitude. Like that's defensive football. That's somebody who's out there and mean and
He's a dog.
like, exactly, a dog.
Yes.
That's who you want is somebody with attitude.
It's very true.
It's an interesting conversation. I will say, the Justin Simmons strategy much more effective with the fans.
No, very,
There
very,
is that.
yes.
There is
is
that.
for sure true. Now, it took
But no one's going to be
Justin-
complaining when he comes back and if he plays well.
Yeah, no.
If he plays well.
Absolutely
But
not.
that's the thing is you sign that contract and you go back to last year's results.
People are going to be
They're
mad.
going to be very mad. Very.
It sounds like, honestly, though, a lot of fans want a Dre'Mont Jones jersey, and you can get that over at Sports Fan. Maybe if he
Possibly.
signs his deal,
Yeah.
then you'll want to get a Dre'Mont Jones jersey. You can get all of the coolest sports gear over at Sports Fan. They not only have their location at 18th and Federal, which is where we do our tailgates, and if you stop in when we're doing our tailgates, you get 10% off over at Sports Fan. But they also have 2 locations on the 16th Street Mall, 1 on Park Meadows Mall. We're a couple of weeks away until that next Broncos home game, so make sure to check out Sports Fan and load up on gear heading into that Raiders game. That's Sports Fan.
And also,
about
Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens are awesome. They're a great way to start your day. They give you energy. They're filled with all sorts of good things for you. They've got 75 different vitamins and minerals and whole food source superfoods, probiotics. We love the probiotics and the adaptogens here. It's really good stuff, and it's really good for you. And like I said, you get to throw all that good stuff inside you to start your day, and it shows results. I couldn't pull the ads up.
Can you finish a sentence without ending it in a question mark?
I don't think so. If you go to athleticgreens.com/Broncos, you can take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. That'll get you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D, 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.
Boom. Also come hang out with us here tonight. Nuggets taking on the Pacers. Watch party down in the bar. You come hang out with us. Great time. And we'll also be doing a Buffs pod up here because it's a great day to be a Colorado Buffalo.
Oh, man.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. 5-star basketball recruit Cody
Roll
Williams.
Tide.
Is it the first one? First 5-star?
First 5-star ever. Now, they weren't doing stars when
Yep.
Chauncey committed. He would have been
Okay.
a 5-star in 96.
What were they doing back then?
I don't
They
know.
have the
He's
internet.
He's very
good,
good.
really good, great.
Yeah, you should get him. He's good. And then they had David Harrison as well, who I believe was pre-stars. Both of those guys obviously went on to the NBA. Chauncey a little bit more decorated.
Yeah, I've heard him.
David Harrison, a former Pacer. And the Nuggets taking on the Pacers tonight.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
There's a nice
but
connection.
yeah, so great day to be a Buff. We'll be doing a pod here, and then I'll be going down to watch some of the Nuggets game. So come by anytime, enjoy it here. We got tailgates, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys soon, Allie.
I've been having to go back and listen to the London pods. Man,
That's
Having
a treat.
to?
That's a treat.
Yeah, what'd you
you're
say like
welcome.
that? What the
they
hell?
are hilarious. I
They're
will
great.
say the chat didn't help, and Ryan, you were terrible at presenting sponsor, and the chat wasn't helping either.
Wow.
Everyone was just just caught up in the vibes of London. I don't know what to say.
I just
It's
got to
true.
tell you that.
Also,
but
I couldn't bet in London because you can't have DraftKings out there, so it wasn't fresh mind because I wasn't on it 24/7.
But we would always start the show with just like what studio and their jokes and everything. So I think everything was very funny. Going back and listening to those, highly recommend.
Do you think maybe we should just be forced to go on like a 3-hour road trip before every show?
I
so
was
we're like
just
a
about to
little
say,
Why not just a 9-hour flight?
weekdays.
Well, that's just not.
Oh, but a 4-hour road trip is?
It's half as much time.
You
we
know
just gotta
what?
get up to the mountain.
We can drive to Vail and back before every show.
Aspen's 4 hours away. We can do that. If it's a
Yep.
destination trip to Aspen every day, I'll do that.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
You could also just drive to Blackhawk too.
Maybe we just need to start
Ooh.
road tripping to all
Okay.
the road games.
We should do a live show from the DraftKings sportsbook up in Blackhawk.
Oh,
I didn't know they
hell
had
yeah,
one.
we should.
They do.
Huh.
They do.
Off-season pod on Friday.
There we go.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Now we're talking, baby. Let's go.
But
All right.
those shows are hilarious.
Yes,
Listening
road
back
shows
to
are
them,
always the best
so-
shows.
You won't forget the presenting sponsor on that one.
I was gonna say, just like close your eyes. It's last Wednesday. Presenting sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook.
There we
Let's
go.
go.
This feels
Impressive.
nothing
Just
like
clip
last
that and put
Wednesday.
it into the show last week.
Actually,
It was
2
2
Wednesdays
weeks
ago.
since,
Jeez,
yeah.
my
Wow.
whole world is like scrambled.
Oh no.
Except not DraftKings Sportsbook.
Not DraftKings
Presenting
Sportsbook.
sponsor of the pod. And speaking of the pod, how about a little classic Wednesday staple?
Let's
little
go.
whiteboard Wednesday. We've been
Wow.
thrown off the past couple of weeks. As some people said, we didn't talk enough football when we were in London, so we didn't get to our whiteboard.
And
But
then when we
people
got
have
back, people
said-
said we talked too much football.
I mean, what's going on? So now I think
You're
we've
never
had-
gonna make them happy.
Yeah, it's very true. Except with this whiteboard Wednesday,
As long
I
as
think
they
we
keep
are.
coming back.
The keys to beating the Tennessee Titans this week. And the Titans are such an interesting team because you have some people like me believe they're a really good overall team, and some people that think the Titans just really aren't that good and that the Broncos need to have style points in their win this week. I don't think you guys agree with that part. It's right.
No,
shaking
not
his
the
head.
style
But-
points.
But I
Please
mean,
just win. That's all
there
we care
are a
about.
lot of people that think like, oh, the Titans are very beatable. In
Yeah.
Vegas, Broncos are only 3-point dogs on the road against them. But then I think they're a good team, and I think it all starts with our first whiteboard topic. And it
Where do you
starts.
think you're going?
It starts with dethrone the king.
Ah, yes.
King Henry is very deserving of that title that he has. Extremely good, and he is.
He's not even
on-
the best Henry around.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm talking about you,
All
Henry.
week this has been awful. You see Henry in the Madden chat. You see Henry in the Discord. Henry on Twitter, and it throws me off.
We should call him Derek Hank for the week.
Oh,
Wow.
Derek, for a little disrespect, or what? What about
Derek
what about
Hank.
what
That's
about
terrible.
Prince Henry?
There we go. And Henry,
That's still
is
pretty
our
good.
Henry is King Henry.
Yes, there you
Like
go.
if Derrick Henry goes for 90 yards, that's like Prince Henry.
Well, and that's exactly
what's
what
like
you need
50?
to do. I actually had Prince Henry as before dethrone the king, but then I decided to change it a little
Henry,
He
bit.
should
can you
have been behead the king.
Can you give it? Ooh. Can you give us
Yeah,
a quick
'cause
King Henry, he loved that stuff.
fun fact about King Henry?
He loved beheading people. Well, it depends on the King Henry you're talking about. If it's the big one, then yeah, he loved beheading people.
Well, this is the big one that we're talking about.
Probably even bigger, honestly.
6'2",
Yeah, definitely
250.
bigger.
People were small back then. No, I saw a suit of armor. That guy was like really
Oh,
big.
he was pretty. All right.
Yeah,
fair
especially
Oh, he
later
was
in his
like-
life, he
he
kind
was-
of ate a lot.
enough. Yeah, I mean,
Probably
this
those
is-
like legs of meat.
We could have just end Whiteboard Wednesday right here.
Yep. We could have, and unfortunately, he's not only the king, but he's on a roll of beheading teams, as Henry
He
would
sure
put it.
is.
In his past 5 games, 114 yards, 102 rushing yards, 128, 219. Then last week, 115. In the past 5 games, he's on a pace of 2,300 yards on over 5 yards per carry, and the team is 4-1. In those past 5 games. So he's not just running to run, he's running to win those games. And by the way, the only game they lost was the Chiefs on the road with a backup quarterback, and they only lost by 3 points. And if you look at that game, Derrick Henry had 92 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. That's some king stuff right there.
Yeah.
In the second half,
Say it. There we go.
king shit. How about that? In the second half, only 23 rushing yards. That's dethroning him. The Broncos have to stop him, and I have a bit of good news.
Oh, good.
How many rushing yards did you say Melvin Gordon had the last time he played the Titans?
196.
You know how many rushing
memory.
yards Derrick Henry has in
last-
the 3 games he's played the Broncos?
195.
Nope.
No, it's got to be less than that.
186.
Okay.
In 3
Wow.
games, he's averaging 60 yards on 3.2 yards per carry and 0 rushing touchdowns. Now, those are very different teams.
Not necessarily than the last one when they played in the COVID year. It was like, you still have Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons,
Dre'Mont.
I guess you would have had Bradley. But, I mean, at least there's Josie. Josie had a huge hit on Derrick Henry last game
did.
for a tackle for loss.
He did.
So there's a little bit of continuity there.
Okay, I like that because unfortunately the Broncos' run defense has been their weakness, and they've covered it up incredibly well with how good their pass defense has been. But the Broncos give up the 12th most rushing yards per game and the 7th most yards per carry at 4.9.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Josie Jewell going downhill, he's really good.
Yep.
And he was, the key in that last time they played against him. And it so much comes down to Tannehill for me because if it's Malik Willis, like I'm just fine with telling Josie Jewell, if it's play action, I don't even care if you get back to your responsibility. Like just commit, and if it's not a run, just try and go get a sack.
You just man up everyone that's going out for a pass. You don't have any safeties for me.
No.
If it's Malik Willis.
I mean, just think about you have Pat Surtain. You don't have to worry about him.
Nope.
Yep.
Damari Mathis is on the other side. Just have him sit inside, press up, nothing underneath, and then hopefully he can run fast enough to chase down the receiver wherever he goes, and at least make that a little bit tighter window. Like you got to drop that ball in over the top a little bit, which
Right.
Malik Willis cannot do.
He certainly hasn't shown the ability
Exactly.
to do it yet.
So it should be just fine. You have the speed to recover.
The thing is, if you get Ryan Tannehill, then it's just like, well, you have a well-rounded offense at this point. And
Yes.
it's, maybe he's a little banged up, which gives you a little advantage, but you certainly can't tell Josie Jewell just tee off because Ryan Tannehill's made his entire living in Tennessee off of just right over the linebackers,
Yep.
all day long. So it's a big swing, but you're right. Everything starts with stopping Derrick Henry.
And I think maybe this next one helps with that too. Next Whiteboard Wednesday. It's not actually that one, but make them work.
My whole thing here is just no big plays. If you force this team to beat you 5 yards at a time, they are going to settle for field goals. You're going to get your stops. You're going to get a couple third down stops and whatnot. You can't let them get one over the top, and you can't let Derrick Henry break the big 80-yard touchdown or however, when he has those big 219-yard games, you look, it's because he had like 2 or 3 carries that went over 40, 50, 60 yards. If you, just gang tackle and allow it, and just stop it, he's going to get his 8s and he's going to get his 9s and whatnot, but you can live with 4, 5, 6 over and over again because this offense isn't dynamic enough to do that over and over and over again. They need a couple big pops.
100%. And I forgot there was one more piece of bad news, and it hurts with this. Justin Simmons has a knee sprain, and his day-to-day was not practicing today. And that is concerning because you mentioned gang tackling. You're going to have those defensive linemen just hold Derrick up for a second, and then Justin and Josie and Alex Singleton are going to have to be the ones that come and finish him off.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you don't want Justin playing at half speed, especially because he's really struggled to tackle this season. I think there's only one player on the team that's missed tackles more often than he has. There have been some really notable ones. I think, was it week 1? He missed right in the hole. No, that would have been week 2, missed right in the hole. Back goes right by him.
Yeah.
Missed another one last week on a big run. It's Singleton too. Like there were the 2 big runs against the Jets where he just overran the hole and left it wide open. So
It's kind of what happens on big runs.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
someone's got to screw up.
But you've been seeing some missed tackles. You've been seeing people overrun their gaps. Those are concerning problems this week.
Yeah. Justin feels like he's playing a little too fast. Like you're seeing him really fly in there, and then one move is able to kind of shake him because he's just flying.
Right.
Which is an interesting. I don't know. It feels like he's over eager to make a big play.
It's very true. It's a good point. And this next one, just a little salt to the wound. I'm sorry, Hank. Ham it up.
Yeah, I thought it was a big KJ Hamler week. Turns out he hurt his hamstring, so that kind of fits in there too.
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
geez.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming.
I thought this was going to be a really important week. You just need that 1 or 2 catches.
I thought the Broncos signed Hamdi Hamovich.
Oh boy,
That'd be a good
boy.
week.
It would.
Without KJ though, you don't have a real speed threat. Like there's just nobody who's on that tier of downfield speed. Honestly, I think I might take Jerry in that role over anybody, but he just doesn't catch the ball when it's contested.
I was thinking of the Andy Janovich role, and I'm like, you want Jerry as your fullback?
The Broncos have kind of tried that with KJ.
Maybe
so.
better than Cortland at this point.
Yes, it would
but,
be.
yeah, I think you're not screwed without KJ, but I do think against this defense, you just need that one big play that KJ has been finding a way to come up with, and I don't know who's going. I mean, now it's Cortland Sutton mossing somebody. Is the other option there?
Well, and one thing that we haven't talked a lot about when we talk about Cortland's drop off in production is teams just aren't giving him one-on-one looks anymore.
For the most part.
For the most part. So that's what you look for this week is you're just hoping they'll go single high at one point, give you some man coverage looks, and allow you to throw it up for Cortland. Mm-hmm. Because when he was eating that way, a lot of teams just looked as like, oh, well, this is the only way the Broncos are advancing the ball right now. So let's just go too high, shade over there, and not allow Russ to try and hit that deep shot to Cortland. And to be fair, like that was what they did all training camp too. It's like, oh, big play, single coverage on Cortland. That's where we're going. And teams aren't allowing the Broncos to do that as much anymore. So hopefully the Titans will. If not, then you're gonna need Jerry to eat in those like little zone looks.
You are. And speaking of eating, next one, cook, don't battle. So let me give you guys two options. Would you rather be out with a sword on the front lines, having to battle against people that are bigger?
King Henry's army.
Yes, exactly. You have to go against King Henry's.
That sounds awful.
You can be in the background, just in a nice little warm hut, cooking meals for people.
That sounds much better than the hand-to-hand combat.
Better.
Yes.
Okay, then don't make it any more complicated than that on the Broncos offense this week. The Titans are the best team in the NFL against the run. Their front seven is incredible. Russ, let him cook, baby. This is a perfect time to let Russ have 40 dropbacks and let him get 300 yards this week.
You know what he needs to cook?
What?
Scramble eggs.
Oh.
Because he's going to need to run around a little bit.
I hate this.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
He's going to need to run around a little bit. Those defensive linemen for the Titans get penetration quick.
Yes, they do.
And Patrick Mahomes was running for his life last week. So you're going to need Russ to get out of the pocket and create. And please, for the love of God, the receivers, remember the whole second play thing?
Yep.
Do the second play. Run the second play.
Yep. And in fact, to your point about Mahomes running around last week, Mahomes had the most pressures from a 4-man rush and any time in his career. The most last week because
does that include the Super Bowl?
Yes, it does. It's probably because he dropped back 68 times, so there were more opportunities for it. But Autry, Jeffrey Simmons, those guys are 7 sacks and 5.5 sacks for each of those guys right now. Both defensive linemen. That is incredible. And the Titans give up the 4th most passing yards. They're not a good team against the pass if the quarterback gets the ball out of their hand. And against the run, they're number 1. However, what Tennessee does do, because the pass rush is always in the quarterback's face, they're okay at picking the ball off. I think they're like an average team in terms of interceptions.
Melvin Gordon should get a lot of playing time blocking.
Because he's good at that.
Yes.
Latavius has to be pretty good, right?
I mean, he's big.
He's big.
Yeah.
He is big.
You kind of need some of that size to just like hit Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, and maybe when Chase Edmonds is there, it's because he's bailing out really quick in order to be a good option route quickly out of the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes did that a bunch.
Yep.
Just take that quick, easy option, get 4 or 5 yards, but sometimes more.
Yep, and live to see another down.
See to live another down.
Star Wars. Next one, a single ton of tackles.
Yes, big Alex Singleton game. Don't mess around with Jonas Griffith. I mean, so Josie Jewell, he might have played every game or every play the last game. And it was a 67-33 split with Jonas Griffith getting 2/3 of the rest of the snaps.
With Singleton the other third?
Yep.
Okay.
And it probably lines up for this to be a Singleton game just because most of those for Singleton were in the 3-4, like we're in that base. So you would think that they'd be in that more, so he'd just be on the field anyway. But regardless, this is just a game where you need Alex Singleton. He's your tackler.
Yes.
You just don't mess around with Jonas Griffith in this game. It's not worth it.
I'd love, we know Alex a little bit. I would love to just hear like what someone really feels about having to tackle Derrick Henry 20, 30 times. Like the thought of that, just you have to just there's no way you can avoid thinking about how much pain you're going to be in the next day.
So true.
He's another one who misses quite a few tackles too. You know, he's good for a missed tackle or two a game, and you wonder if that plays up a little bit with Derrick Henry. You know, like who can actually bring Derrick Henry down on their own? Almost nobody.
Josie.
Yeah, Josie's the answer, and Bradley Chubb too, but he's gone. So I don't.
Man.
I'm really curious to see
Josie
just
used
if
to
they can
tackle
get him
actual
down.
cows.
It's so true.
I think that's easier, right? The
No.
skinny little legs.
They're on 4 legs.
They're skinny though.
What was it? He was wrestling or
Yeah, no, wrangling them up.
yeah,
I didn't know
something
he
like
did
that.
Yeah,
Oh.
back in the
Very
farms.
Montana, yeah.
Yeah, what do you? I think there's like a sport of this. You
Oh, yeah.
tackle them and then wrap them up.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
I can't remember what it's called. They do it
Yeah,
at the
that's
rodeo
what he would
though.
do
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah, that's Josie, and so Josie is the only one equipped to tackle Derrick Henry on his
Probably.
own. Maybe Alex Singleton, just with like technique.
Yeah.
But it's Josie and the boys.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do the Zach Stevens trying to tackle Mr. Jones in high school. You get ran over by them, but then you still just hold on to
As
a
they're
cleat.
going by, you
Yeah,
grab a cleat as it's dragging
exactly.
across
Still
your
have a little
face.
scar on my foot from a cleat going straight into the ankle.
Jeez.
Oh no.
They don't mess around in practice in high
No,
school.
they do not. All right,
All right.
and last one is designer plays.
Yeah, I want
like
some
the sound
designer
of it.
plays this week. Some Dulcich and Gabbana.
Ah, who's Gabbana?
Oh boy.
Jerry.
Why not
Oh,
just
okay,
Dulcich and
okay.
Gabbana? Why designer plays?
Because I wanted to set up the punchline.
Okay.
So yeah, you got to design some stuff.
Okay.
For Greg Dulcich, it's so perfect that he has a designer-esque name because he's a designer tight end.
He is the hair, the short shorts,
Yep, everything.
California boy.
Exactly. You got to draw some stuff up. You want him to get the ball in general, but you want to manufacture touches for him. And so whether that is like little tight end screen, coming out of the backfield with some angle routes, whatever it may be, I want to see lots of Greg Dulcich, and I want to see them get him involved, like force his involvement into this game, especially without KJ Hamler.
That's a tough
You're
part.
running low on weapons. Maybe this is the opening for my Alberto Dulcich combination out there on the field at the same time. But he's a mismatch for you. He's been really good. A lot of people called him the MVP. He won the poll.
He did. He
did
blew
win.
out the poll.
He won the poll of the Broncos offensive MVP in a blowout, and he's played in three games?
3 games.
So apparently he's your best player on offense. You got to get him involved.
And that's what I was going to say, Ryan. You honestly shouldn't have to force anything. He should just be that much in your game plan already.
Fair enough.
But I completely agree with you. You know who has, since he started in week 6, you know who has the most receiving yards from a tight end in the NFL? And no, it's not Greg Dulcich.
Say it again.
Since Greg Dulcich started playing this year, so
Okay.
week 6.
The last 3 weeks.
The last 3 weeks. Who has the most receiving yards in the past 3 weeks of tight ends?
Travis Kelce.
Not bad.
He's 1 or 2. Guess
Okay.
who the other one is? It's not Greg Dulcich.
It is.
Who's the Titans tight end?
No, it's not him.
George Kittle.
Yes, guess who number 3 is?
Greg Dulcich.
Wow.
Greg Dulcich, only behind George Kittle and Travis Kelce.
That's
How
solid.
about that?
That's solid.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what it looks like this week because last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago at this point, they had a lot of Cortland on the left with Jerry in the slot over there, with KJ on the right and Dulcich on his side. So those are kind of like your two combos that are working doing things. Again, like KJ has the speed to open things up. I don't know what you do
Montrell?
without him. He's not that fast, and he also can't catch those
Jalen
balls.
Virgil.
That'd be a better move, I think.
Okay.
But
I'm
again,
in on giving Jalen Virgil a look.
You got to try something.
You're not going to be able to give Trinity Benson a look. He was just snagged off the Broncos practice squad to the
Damn.
Lions.
A lot cheaper than the last time they got him from the Broncos.
Seriously.
Yes.
They're like, wait, we don't have to
Yes.
give anything up for you this time? Great.
George is like, all right, fine, I'll do a 7th this time. They're like,
And they're
wow,
like,
great
okay,
deal.
oh, wait, no. And I think a key to this game is something that DraftKings is offering right now.
Oh.
Over at DraftKings Sportsbook, all of the props for this week aren't up yet, but they have a weekly special. Guys,
Ooh.
I think this is, unfortunately, great value.
Oh no.
Derrick Henry, 100 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Plus 200.
Wow.
Derrick Henry's done that the last 4
The
weeks.
specials never
going up
hit.
against last 5. Well, you're probably right. And that's probably good news for the Broncos. If Derrick Henry doesn't hit that, the Broncos are winning. So maybe this is a way to hedge your emotions.
The last special against the Broncos was Justin Herbert 1 touchdown pass. He had done it in every game in his career except one.
Yep.
Incredible.
He didn't do it.
You're right.
Derrick Henry has never done either of those things against the Broncos.
That is very
He's never
true.
scored a touchdown against the Broncos?
He is not. No.
Wow,
0
that's
touchdowns.
crazy.
Yep.
Well, they did shut him out. Mariota's last game.
Right.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to remember. The last time they were in Tennessee was the Harry Douglas game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Akeem Talib, baby.
Dirty play
man.
by a sorry player.
Man, I wish you could bet someone beating someone's ass on DraftKings, because that'd be a great one for
Let's
this game.
go.
It
A
would be.
little Harry Douglas there. All right, so make sure to check out DraftKings, because also if you bet $5, like Ryan said earlier, on any NBA money line and that team wins, you get $200 free in your account. DraftKings has it all going on, from big promotions to great weekly specials. Check them out over at DraftKings, and make sure to use the code DNVR when you sign up in order to get these boost. That's code DNVR over at DraftKings. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Make sure to see all of the show notes in our, or see all of the details in our show notes.
Come in the game, he ain't catch no passes. Go ahead.
Also, go over to Hassel Cattle Company. These are cows that they butcher up for you. You don't have to go in there and tackle
Josie
them.
doesn't have to
yourself.
tackle
Oh
him.
Nope,
my
nope.
goodness.
This is not serve your own. This is full on, like full service cow cut up.
Do you
Sent
think
right
they
to
would
you.
allow you to if you wanted to? Probably not.
You have to pay more, I bet.
Okay.
RG's
It's one of those
dying.
things where it's like,
you
do you
just
pay?
killed RG.
Oh no. I hope, like, you know those apple orchards where you go and pick your own apples.
Yes.
So do you wind up paying more for the apples or less than for the apples?
Got to be more.
Oh, I think you
I
end up
think it
paying
is
more,
more.
even though it doesn't
Isn't
make
that
any
crazy?
sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
The only issue with what
That's
you're saying,
genius
Hank,
business right there.
is
Yes.
it really is genius. The only issue with what you're saying is Josie does it in Iowa. Those cows come from Texas.
Imagine the flex that the pick your own apple orchards have on the places that pick the apples themselves and then sell them.
Totally.
They're
Totally.
like, you guys have to pick them and you make less money off of them. You
Honestly,
guys are idiots.
These cows might be easier to tackle because they're so soft and tender. Because don't you have to, like, the Wagyu beef, don't you have to, like, massage the beef
Yeah.
or whatever to
Just
get it
sad
in
now.
there? I don't know if...
Yeah, this is too graphic. I don't want to think about the cows.
Okay, that's fine. But yes, all sorts of different cuts of steak. They've got the beef sticks, they've got the jerkies, they've got the sausages, and the beef bacon. They've got everything over there. So make sure that you're checking out Hassel Cow Company. Like I said, that's a Wagyu beef farm, family-owned in Texas. And if you use the code DNVR20 at HassleCattleCompany.com, you can secure your bag of beef and get 20% off your entire purchase.
Come in the game, chop guys from the back. Got the same agent as me. So when I see his ass in Atlanta, I'm going to beat his ass.
Keep it going. I love it. Oh, man, some drama like that this week would be great.
That might be the only like multi-sentence quote that I remember word for word.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of the two most, the two scariest guys on each team to get into a battle this week. Would it be Dre'Mont and Derek?
Dre'Mont would be in so much trouble.
It's a shame they don't have Randy Gregory.
Wait, what?
Just Derrick Henry. Like, no one can mess with Derrick Henry.
Randy Gregory, Derrick Henry would have been a really fun one.
Randy Gregory is so skinny compared to Derrick
But
Henry.
like he has 2 inches and like 30 pounds on him.
That's true. Was it a boxing match or is it a brawl?
It's an Akeem Talib sideline brawl, baby.
Was it Aqib who ended up alone on their sideline?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so.
And he had some crazy quotes to us the next day when he came back. He said something along
About what they were doing.
Well, no, some media member asked him, like, are you afraid, like, if you see those guys in person, like, they'll jump you or something? And which was such a weird quote. Or such a weird question. And Aqib said something like, nah, because if you jump me once, you have to jump me every time you see me for the rest of your life.
Man.
I was like, that is so badass.
That is. Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Okay, we got to move on and hop into the comment section. No super chats today, so let's hop into this comment section to talk to the people. Ryan, you got the first one pulled up?
Of course.
Great. You want to read it to us?
I'll just take a quick little break here.
Okay. Well,
and we'll get into it.
since you're taking a break, I'll hop into the
Okay,
comments
no super
for us.
chats?
No super chats. Crazy
Wow.
enough, but don't worry, I've had it pulled up this whole time.
Oh,
First one from Nash
goodness.
Bronco says, "Hi boys, what does it take to turn a season around? It felt like we hit a turning point during the Jags game. Maybe Hackett and Russ finally found some things to build off of. The quick passing game and faster tempo helped Russell make reads quicker, which I feel like has been his biggest issue. The arm talent is there, the mobility is there enough. It just didn't seem like he was seeing the plays develop how they were designed, besides a few to Dulcich. We also need to give some credit to the red zone offense, which was much better last week. 3 for 3, right? That's a huge improvement over the rest of the season."
Yep. Now I just got to get more red zone trips at the same clip.
Yes, that's
Yes.
very, very true. Really quick, that reminded me about the Titans. Is this not the weirdest thing ever? The Titans are the worst team on offense on third down.
Okay.
Worst. They're the best in the red zone.
So yeah, that is really crazy.
I mean, it makes sense that they'd be so good in the red zone because Derrick Henry, and was it you that said the stat about
it was me.
Oh,
82%
you?
of plays
Yep,
from
yep,
inside
yep.
the 5 are resulting in touchdowns for them.
And that makes sense because you're like, well, just give it to Derrick Henry. Good luck stopping him.
Yeah.
But then how on third down is that not working? They just must be a lot more third and longs.
Exactly. If
It's-
if
if it
it's
doesn't-
3rd and 5, then they're screwed with Malik Willis.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
And
if you
Tannehill
guess a run
sometimes.
blitz correctly on first down and you get them in 2nd and 11,
Yeah.
then they're just cooked.
Yeah, that's a really
Yep.
good point. Yep. Or you somehow get Derek down at the line of scrimmage.
Obviously, the principles are different. It is very similar to playing Air Force. If you let them get on
Yeah.
schedule, you're in big trouble.
Yep.
And especially if you're letting certain things work, then the counters off of that work and all those
Right.
things. If you keep them out of their rhythm, then you're going to have a lot of success.
It's a really good point.
It's the way the Broncos shut them out that game. Now it's different with Mariota, but they never let them get comfortable. And the Titans, I don't even think they crossed midfield once or something crazy like that.
Yep. Little full circle for Tannehill with this game because that was his first game in for the Titans.
Did you know in that game that the Raiders played the Jets and got shut out, they didn't cross midfield once?
No way.
With the team of weapons that they have, they could not get past the 50-yard line.
Well, what does that come down to?
Coaching.
They
Coaching.
suck.
Yes, it does.
I love that the first person to use the verification
Yep.
thing as a weapon on sports Twitter, at least on football Twitter,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
someone saying that Josh McDaniels got fired.
Yep. And didn't it go kind of viral?
Super viral.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was probably a Raiders fan
Yeah.
wanting him gone.
That's what I say. People will believe anything if you tell them what they want to hear.
That's very true. Yep. Next one from our Vada Luke. He says, "Hey team, Ryan, learning a newfound appreciation for old stuff is one of the symptoms of being 30.
Probably.
Wow.
I'd recommend-
Your old stuff.
I have a new appreciation for myself.
Yeah.
I recommend you stock up on probiotics." He says, "What home game remaining?"
mom would
Athletic
agree.
Greens.
Athletic Greens, exactly.
Yes.
What home game remaining would you feel is is the one most worth attending? Chiefs Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
It's going to
You
be
hope.
raucous.
That is going to be raucous.
You hope.
Yep.
You hope.
I want to say the Chargers Week 18. I want that to matter.
Man. Okay, you hope even that. You
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
that one even more.
Yeah,
Yep,
for sure.
Good point. He says, "I feel like the obvious answer is the divisional game. Front runner is the shot to absolutely dunk on McDaniels at home, but I could see it being KC if the Broncos really get hot, or the Chargers if it goes to game 17, which begs the question, how would the outcome of this week's game affect that choice? If we win by 1, does it turn into a let's just have fun at the Raiders game? Versus if we put up 45, is it time to take down Mahomes? Cheers, AL.
You
My
just need to
thought-
win.
My thought is if you lose this week, you don't want to be there next week. The vibes will be terrible.
Yep.
If they lose this week, you go to the Chiefs game because that's one that no matter what the record is, if you win it, it's
Yep.
going to be a party.
Sunday Night Football, as of now.
As
Yeah.
of now, it will not be.
I don't think they're going to want to take Patrick Mahomes off primetime.
Got to tell me what the other
Interesting.
options are. If you have like Josh Allen versus someone good, then
Right.
I think there's
Maybe.
like an Eagles-Giants game.
they
then-
love the East Coast.
So then in that way, the Broncos have to be relevant enough
Relevant enough. Yep.
because they don't want to take Mahomes off. Who did they take off this week? It was the Commanders? No.
I don't remember. I didn't see it.
Oh, who was it? Hank, do you remember who
I
they
don't
flexed
remember.
out? It wasn't this week, but it was for the following week.
It was a bad matchup.
They flex out a bad one for a good one.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
They did their job.
Eagles, Giants. I guess Ravens, Steelers doesn't mean that much. Panthers,
nothing.
Seahawks.
No.
I think those are the big ones. Jets, Bills.
You just said Panthers Seahawks is a big one.
No, I said that's not. No, wait, I don't think I did.
You said those are the big ones.
Yeah, I mean just like good records, teams that could matter.
That's one team with a good record.
Yes, that's why I said no. But now you distracted me. Oh, Jets at Bills.
Okay.
Man.
That
Divisional
counts.
game.
Yeah, that counts.
That's yeah.
Okay, that's a good
If
one.
the Jets hold it together.
Yeah,
but also
that's true.
the networks can protect.
Yep.
So one of those will get protected.
It's true.
So it would probably have to be Jets Bills because I bet Eagles Giants gets protected by Fox.
Yeah,
You would think. Dolphins, Chargers could be.
Arvada Luke says he goes on to say, just saw the Broncos are again going with the white top, blue bottom uniforms this week. I love it. It's great to have a team that is showing they are at least a little
A little stitious.
a little stitch. I was like, what is
not
this
a good
word?
thing.
He says, I also like building a little history into a
Seemingly
random decision. Does this tell us anything? Does this suggest that we have some new uniform design coming sooner than later? Is this line of questioning asinine? I'm generally of no opinion on the aesthetics. Thought it was a bit of a fun initial shock seeing that uni against Jacksonville. I'll take any win, even an ugly win.
And the wins are extra ugly when they wear those
They are.
uniforms.
Damani Leach says it takes like 3 years to get any of that stuff through. We imagine that they didn't do any
started-
of that this offseason. So I don't think we'll see him next year, but the process is definitely going.
That does not
Yes.
take 3 years. What could possibly take 3
I-
years?
The NFL.
I also agree with you.
The NFL just sucks when it comes to everything.
The Commanders?
With jerseys, remember if a player switches numbers, they have to then buy all of their You're right. The NFL does suck with jerseys.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, okay, so the Waltons will buy out all the stock. Most of it's at Walmart at this point.
Then there
anyway.
you go. Probably you're fine. Yep.
All right. The count. Would you give up coffee for tea if you got to always have British cask beer on tap when you wanted to hoist a frosty barley pop to your lips? No.
Hell
and
no.
is Nick Benito actually good?
Wait, is what?
Nick Benito actually good?
Huh.
Maybe.
He's
gonna
actually
find out.
talented.
He's definitely talented.
Yes.
He's
not good.
yet.
He might be good eventually.
Yeah.
Hank and I had a conversation with someone that knows Nick Benito's past pretty darn well.
Interesting.
And not like deep past.
I know.
But, you know,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And this person was not confident in the answer in this question.
Huh.
Doesn't.
No, it's not his mom, Dre.
It's not his mom. Wasn't confident that he has the
Imagine
tools.
some guy's mom being like, "Yeah, I don't know if he has what it takes. Don't know if he's really gonna stick in the NFL."
Really got put together.
Some moms may not want their kids playing football, so that would be kind of the route to take.
Fair enough. Last one here from C. Phillimore 72.
Our guy.
Gentlemen, greetings from the west of England.
Wales.
Love Dulcich. He gets open. He blocks. He can catch anything. The man can play. Hope it's the start of a long and successful QBTE partnership. More Dulcich, please. Great to hang with you guys for a few days. But it's also good to see the band back together in Denver. All the best, Christopher.
Love you, Christopher.
Great, dude.
Happy to
Great
be
dude.
back in Denver, but definitely miss everything about England. So it's specifically the people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I miss it a lot. It was great.
Yep.
And the people were the best part.
Yep.
All right. That's going to wrap it up.
That's
Wow.
gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh, a late super chat.
Buzzer beating super chat
Ooh.
from Chan Dutton. Boys, just booked my flight to Denver for week 17 for $107 round trip.
Steal.
Let's
Insane.
go.
More money to blow on good tickets and member beers.
Yes.
See y'all in January. Actually,
See
you
you
don't
January,
get member
Chan.
beers anymore, but it's even better deal. You get 15% off your
Yes.
tab.
There we go. I
Yes.
absolutely love it. Can't wait
So
to see
more
you, Chan.
beers.
And how about this? One more little station to end the show off. Because you like those, right?
I love them.
Broncos are undefeated in morning games this year.
Let's go.
Wow.
Well, does that apply to local time?
Yes, we're only thinking local time here.
Denver time?
Denver time morning games.
All right.
1-0, baby.
Also,
Oh,
any
boy.
games that start before 2 o'clock local time, where
Yeah.
the game is being played.
Yeah. Which
that one
would still
started
be
at
the same
1:30.
thing, right?
1-0?
Oh, you're right. Yep. 1-0.
Let's go, baby.
Yep.
All right. We will catch you guys tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast. Thanks for tuning in.